I don't know that we've gone soft at it, but maybe we're going about it the wrong way. After all, if a woman is in jail, she's there for a reason, and in which case, she has to be looked after if she's pregnant, and that has to be a consideration. But listening to, what you just said about young people taking up boxing, I think with all young people, girls and boys, etc., they need to have some sort of purpose if you're trying to direct them away from crime. And I feel something's gone wrong within our prison system. And if we are on overload, maybe community service has got to be considered, something where they're actually sort of realizing that they're in jail for a reason, but at the same time, it's a punishment. You've still got to understand that if somebody's in prison, they're there for a reason. And we've got to make certain that when they come out, that hopefully not only are they going to go straight, but that have the need to go straight and actually change their whole way of behaving.
There is, Steve, a lot of arguments you hear, everywhere, don't you? People say, you need to lock them up, throw away the key, you need to be a lot tougher. People are getting an easy ride when they're sent to prison.
Well, the fact is that we've tried being tough on crime, and we've tried being tougher on crime, and we've tried being tougher than that. But the reality is that we have the worst criminal records across developed Europe. We build more prisons, we have longer sentences, but we have the highest reoffending rate in Europe. It's extraordinary. We are only outgunned in that by America. It's an appalling record. So we need a fresh approach, and with that I agree. First of all, we need to think a lot more about prevention, and that's why it's been great to watch that film about boxing. But we need to ask, why are all the systems failing? Housing, education, social care, mental health, etc., etc. Because I remember talking to Robert Buckland a year ago or so when he was still the Secretary of State for Justice, and he said justice sits at the end of a failing system. All the systems fail, and then we dump people in prison who are neurodiverse, who've been traumatised, who have histories of where they've been neglected, they've seen violence, they've known violence. And then if we just punish them for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years, and then set them free, well, what difference is that going to make? You can't heal somebody by hurting them. We need a different way.
Liz, what do you make of that? Perhaps taking a more holistic approach at this, looking at other systems before we get to the justice system?
Yeah, well, they have to be re-educated. If you're in jail, you're there for a reason. And somehow or other, you have to turn their direction from crime into doing something worthwhile. And in prison, from what I understand, and I don't know the true facts, but I gather there are various educational processes that they can join and get involved with. Whether they do or not, I don't know, but maybe it should be compulsory. At the same time, because we're overcrowding, and I think that's because population has gone up tremendously, not just with the fact that we've got a lot of migrants coming into the country, but numbers have gone up. And we do need to build more jails, but we need to build them with a more modern approach of how to actually teach the people in jail how to go forward and how to have a worthwhile life. Now, whether we should start considering far more community service, and I'm a great believer in that, so they could actually go out, supervise, and scrub off graffiti from walls, but actually do something, be made to work, and realize, going to jail isn't just a period of time where you're going to get, 3 meals a day and a roof over your head. It has to be a form of punishment, and they need to realize that, but also they need to feel worthwhile.
OK, just very briefly, Steve, because we are out of time. How do you balance all this? A lot of people would say, yes, a more holistic view, a healing, you try to heal damaged people. But how do you balance that with the needs and the suffering of a victim?
Absolutely. part of the healing is always to confront the wrong that you've done, the crime that you've committed. But unless we go down a healing route, society never becomes safer. To leave people rotting in a jail for however many years and then to release them once they're institutionalised back into society, that's asking for trouble. So even if we don't care about the therapeutic journey of these people, we should care about our economy enough to choose a more sensible way. We've just got to have some fresh thinking.
OK.
Steve Chalke, Liz Brewer, thank you very, very much for joining us this morning.